This is the buffalo with enormous, look at the size of that pot pie. And also a crazy amount of attitude that goes along with her just sheer um, incapacitating ignorance about how like food works. And so we'll use this as an example to illustrate and maybe get some basic dieting facts onto anybody. Okay, here we go.
Hello, guys. Hello. I'm super hungry, so I'm going to say Bismillah and dig right in.
I sped her up a little
Okay?
bit.
Yes.
Bismillah. Let's eat
Oh
it.
my gosh.
It looks
Look
good.
at this crust here. As you can see, I'm eating hot pie. Look at the chicken.
Oh, look. Why jump cut? That was weird. Let's see. Watch her face. She looks so weird because of the filters.
I need to open a restaurant. I make
You need
the
to
best
open a
pie,
restaurant. I don't know any restaurants where I would go to get a pot pie. Oh, I guess we have a Furs. I had to restart because I messed up the recording earlier. But I had gone on and on about how many just insane options to eat here that we have because we're a refugee place. So we have all kinds of stuff. All kinds of cultural foods and things. Tons of authentic Asian food, authentic Mexican food, and also, since it's like a beef place here in the Panhandle, very good barbecue, right? It's Texas. As much Texas-y barbecue as you can get here too. So like, I don't know why I would waste my time on a pot pie, which is really like mostly filler. It's how you take a small amount of chicken and make it into a full meal. Restaurant.
Now,
You crazy person.
my pie crust is
Pie
made
crust.
with oil,
Oil.
not butter, not lard.
Not butter, not lard. Okay. Example number 1. Oil, which is milk fat, right? Pure fat. Lard. Lard specifically. It's not lard because lard is pork fat. Never heard tallow, or not tallow, what do you call beef fat? I've never heard anything referred to as lard or seen anything in the store as specifically that said lard that wasn't pork fat. So obviously you didn't use lard, but lard also pure fat. See? Butter, lard, both pure fat. She says oil. She thinks that using oil is healthy. So no matter what oil you use, it is also 100% pure fat. And the difference between butter and lard is that they are relatively healthy for you and they have a lot of minerals in them. Like, remember, cows and pigs are mammals, so they have lots of different minerals in their bodies, the same as we use, right? So those on a way are healthier than plant oils. So you have the top of the line oils that you should eat would be cold pressed oils, because when you heat plant oils, it chemically changes them and they're just not as healthy for you. I can't tell you exactly why, but the heat, whenever you get like canola oil or peanut oil or corn oil, well, I don't think anybody uses that really, right, anymore. Oh, I mean, I see it at the anyways. You can damage the plant oils more easily than you damage the mammalian fat cells, right? There you go. All of them have virtually the same amount of calories, only the oil is technically less healthy. So it doesn't matter how much fat you eat, you can't eat more calories than you need in a day. That is the number 1 rule of being healthy, period. That's the goal every day, is to just eat a little bit less than you needed.
And whole wheat flour. Super flaky.
Whole wheat flour? Whole wheat flour is just flour. It's all just carbs with extra plant fiber in it. So it would be more filling and less calorically dense, but it is not any healthier.
And I'm eating out of the dish because
One of the kids had a disaster, so I lost my place.
I feel like it. Beauty bite. So there's chicken thighs.
Chicken thighs. Okay, very fatty. I mean, I love them. They're my favorite piece of chicken.
Corn, beans, like green beans.
Corn and beans are low calorie. They're fine. As long as you don't add too much butter to them, they're good. It's fine. You can eat as much of that stuff as you like. Not too much salt, and you should probably try without butter.
Carrots.
It looks good.
Oh.
It looks delicious. That's clearly gravy right there.
My homemade gravy.
What is it made out of, huh?
I'm not
Come
gonna eat
on,
this whole
woman.
thing, don't worry.
Anyways.
And I made my own pickled cabbage.
I'm not sure exactly what quote pickled cabbage is.
So the trick is, guys, do not throw out your leftover pickle juice, okay?
Oh, just put a bunch of cabbage and pickle juice. Okay. I mean, that's fine. Besides the fact that that's very salty, right? It's good. That's 0 calories, basically. Just cabbage like that is like 0 calories. That's a good snack, only it's a little too salty.
Cabbage, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit more vinegar, and a bit of honey.
A bit of honey. Why add sugar to it? Why add sugar to it? Just get regular dill pickle, whatever kind of pickle juice, just the normal greenish kind that you pickle cucumbers in, and put the cabbage in there. It'll pickle it enough. After a couple of days, it'll be really delicious. It'll absorb all the flavors, but it's too salty, and you shouldn't be adding anything to it.
It's been in there about 30 hours. Oh, and garlic.
Garlic, well,
it's
yeah,
delicious.
Garlic's okay. Garlic's also basically no calories.
Wow.
As long as you don't add oil or fat or butter. Another interruption. Little salty. Don't add calories to something that you can eat with 0 calories. You can basically eat any amount of raw plants and not worry about the calories. Maybe not tomatoes. They're like a little sugary, I think. But like what? Zucchini. Don't eat potato raw. Obviously, I'm not talking about potatoes. But you could also, if you don't add anything to like a baked potato, it's like 150 calories. That's nothing. You could easily have 3 plain potatoes with rice on it, and that's 450. You can always eat large amounts of food, but the whole point is to not add sugar or fat to almost anything. And don't overdo it in the salt. It would be good if you get used to eating that way. Your palate will adjust. Your body just wants to adapt better at whatever you're doing. It wants to get better at it. There is no such thing as an intelligence in your body. It is just a bunch of chemical reactions. And what it does automatically is adapt to things. So when you eat a huge amount of calories, you overeat all the time, you put on more weight on your body, your metabolism will go up because it requires more. Your body goes into full-blown just overworking mode because your metabolism is so high, it has to spend so much energy to maintain your mass that you're working overtime, basically. Right? That's the stress part. Anyways, continuing. Oh, the chewing noise is a little bit much, maybe.
It's
Is she
so
just wearing
good.
a hoodie? That looks pretty comfortable.
So my gravy, essentially.
Isn't she not supposed to pull her wrists out? I don't know. Here it is. Come on. Come on, Foodie.
Milk, water.
Milk, water,
stock,
fat, and sugar.
The chicken drippings from the leg.
The chicken drippings? Do you know what the chicken drippings are, folks? That would be almost pure chicken fat. The stuff that comes off your chicken, the drippings, that's pure fat, just like lard, just like beef fat. Why can't I remember? Is there not another word for it? And oils. That's all just pure fat from different sources. So she also, what you use a lot of fat in the gravy. That's what makes it so bad for you, flat and carbs. And so, did I say flat? Anyways, chicken fat. Oh yeah, I made it with chicken fat. See, this is a recipe designed to get the very most out of every part of your chicken. You pick every piece of meat and you put it in here. You got some random corn and green beans and you got flour. This isn't exactly like rich person food, right? I mean, like culturally. Okay, another interruption from the children, so I skipped around a little bit. Let's just go here. Remember, pure fat and chicken. It's not. Yeah, I was saying that culturally, this is a poor farm person or something like that meal, right? I don't know if it's probably American. I mean, I know that they have shepherd's pie and stuff in other places. They have all kinds of sort of baked things, but I believe this style of pot pie she's making is kind of like an American style. So it's just made out of wheat, your drippings, and dried seasonings you would have. Right? You would have flour. It might be your last chicken, and you gotta feed your family for 3 days. So you make an enormous pot pie like that. You use a bunch of flour and you use all the fat you can find, and you had a couple eggs, and you put it in a dish or what are the cast iron pots that have lids that you like bake? One of those things, and boom, you got that. That's food. It will last you for 2 or 3 days, so you didn't starve to death in the winter, right? It's made to be very high calories, and use the most of what little protein you might have had.
There was already a huge chunk missing. That was
remember,
my husband's.
On the farm, you would be burning a lot of calories. It's probably depression food, like Hoover stew, which is basically macaroni with whatever you could fucking get, right? Can of tomato sauce, tomatoes, or a little bit of potato. Maybe you had some hamburger, stuff like that. That is kind of what the macaroni and tomato sauce stuff, if your mom or your grandparents eat that, if you were relatively poor, you would have probably eaten a lot of that stuff, right? So I can relate to you on some of these cheap foods, but that is what you would call Hoover stew from the Great Depression, right? Hoover after.
Now, when
was there a President Hoover? I don't know. I get fuzzy around that era.
Eating those like Swanson TV dinners.
Swanson.
You know the ones I'm talking about, the frozen ones that are like cardboard. They're pretty good though.
I had one, and they were not as great as I remember as a kid. Of course, I just got they have the $1 banquet ones. It's a certain brand, and we really don't do a lot of frozen food, but I will a couple times a week buy I got them a couple of little personal pizzas. 4 of them, 2 for each of them, for them to have some random day for lunch or at night when I'm feeling lazy and I don't want to cook a lot. And I'm just going to eat a can of Vienna sausages and a piece of cheese for dinner. So I had one recently, and it was pretty bad. It was not as good as I remembered, of course. My mom baked them in the oven, and I think I used the air fryer. That cabbage looks good. A+ on that.
My new favorite thing is pickled cabbage.
And why does she have to eat with a serving spoon? That's crazy. That's the problem. I mean, that's not the problem. Or like people say, well, she's chewing. I don't know how much. I don't notice how much I chew, but she's chewing her stuff. A lot of people will criticize her for just kind of inhaling things that are easy to eat. Okay, constant interruptions. All right.
The whole wheat flour
Big ass
doesn't
spoon.
taste much different than the other one.
It doesn't taste. It's designed not to taste much different, but it has filler in it. So remember that. You're getting pure carbohydrates when you get white and rich flour. You're getting the pure extract of the stuff your body needs. And when they sell you whole wheat products, they're leaving in some of the garbage that your body cannot even digest. That's what dietary fiber is, right? Just think about it.
Than regular white flour.
I noticed the difference in whole wheat bread.
It has a lot more fiber and nutritional benefit.
It doesn't have to. No, there's no
creamy.
There's no nutritional benefit in eating. That you can't digest that part. All you get out of it is the part of the seed that is the carbohydrates, right? That's all you get out of it. The fiber doesn't get digested, especially if it's fucking whole wheat flour.
Oh. It also has a bit of flour and butter for the roux.
You could get high enough to destroy most of the nutrients in it, but not high enough to help digest the fiber itself.
Hi. My cat's just staring at me
is it just me, or should she be using another serving dish for that? Wouldn't you? I'd get we don't have any ramekins. We have little plastic cups that I use. So I would do something like that, or even just get a whole nother bowl.
Here. So I used to eat the Swanson's dinners.
Yeah.
The Swanson.
Yeah, eh? Let's speed up a little more.
Pot pies. They're $1. They used to be $1. Now with inflation, they're $2.50 or something. I'm not paying that. I'll just make my own pot pie.
Yeah. I wonder what you spent on this pot pie. I mean, flour's cheap. She probably used one of those bags of veggies she had, right? She probably used a whole rotisserie chicken. So around here, that's $10. So yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, did she cook thighs? She didn't say where the chicken. came from. Maybe I missed it. Anyways, so, I mean, I guess she made a lot. And it's fresh, but you also have this huge amount. See, I would vacuum seal enough for like a side, for a meal, in each little bag and freeze it. Boom, and then you can just throw that in some hot water and eat it.
The crust turned out so good. I'll never use another crust recipe.
I mean, it's not hard, right? You just need flour, egg.
Never.
Right? I don't know
I
what
did
goes into it, but it's not like
so
crazy.
much walking today.
Did you? Did we get a walking video earlier? Or have you doing it?
My stamina is insane. I love it.
Yo, bitch. Vids or it didn't happen. It looks good. Yeah, quit showing us.
100% true.
Were you eating this? Why are you sitting here eating like this, though? You've eaten already enough. You've already eaten enough. I think she ate into that. She's eaten way more than was taken out.
I think I'll have to freeze some.
You should.
Or
Look.
just eat it like
It's hard.
over the next
It's
few
hard
days.
to see her eating. She's eating real fast. Oh! I'd be the one spaz screaming, "Slow down!" And I got her on 1.5 speed.
There's no
she takes such
bottom crust. It's just top
huge bites.
and
Sorry,
the
I had
vegetables
to
and chicken on the
scratch
bottom.
But
That's it.
that's fine. You got enough crust on top. Like, you could have just made a stew. You could have
so
just
I
got
wanted to
cream
film
of
it, but-
chicken. Got a couple cans of cream of chicken.
We got home later than I thought.
And done it in a
It
bowl.
was pretty much already dinner time by the time we got home, and I still had to like make everything from scratch.
I mean, we don't know how you did the chicken. Last time you used a rotisserie chicken. That I remember. Last time I remember. Sorry, anybody out there. You didn't have to put the crust on it. You didn't have to do that. And how long did that really take? I mean, it doesn't take that long if you have a mixer. Maybe she doesn't have a mixer. So maybe she had to make the crust dough by hand. But, I mean, it's not that crazy. It's not like, it's like casserole. It's just casserole. That's what this thing is, right?
But first, I had to clean the kitchen.
And if you're not a cook, if you don't cook a lot, or you maybe don't remember I don't know who cooks and who doesn't anymore. I look on the internet and I see people my age who literally never cook a meal at home. And then I see young people that also never do that. But then you can also see anybody of any age cooking like some amazing shit, right? I saw a video of a guy cooking beef Wellington in his dorm room with just like a toaster oven and a hot plate or something. Like, it was pretty impressive. But that's somebody who was clearly 18, 19 years old at the time. So, like, it's impressive. But, like, most people don't seem to know how to cook or anything. But, a casserole, just a whole bunch of shit in it with some sort of carb on top. A pie crust, potatoes. People put corn flakes. Put, what else was I thinking? Yeah, like Lay's potato chips on top. Some people get a can of biscuits and just lay the biscuits over the top. It's cool. It's groovy.
Clean the dishes from the last time I cooked my previous meal.
When?
And
When was that? We didn't get a mukbang for that.
I just did everything super fast.
Why? If I was Foodie Beauty, you know what she should do? She should have 2 videos a day. And she should do one right before she goes to bed, so all the reaction channels can talk about it first thing in the morning. Every single day. Her first one should be a weigh-in at night before bed. Trust me, Foodie. Trust me. And number 2, you should have a mukbang. You should have whatever you're going to eat for your meal, have it on camera. You can just talk shit about reaction channels. Don't you want to talk more shit about FFG? Aren't you? Oh, man. If you didn't see her other video, she flashed pictures of content creators calling them ugly. Like, well, how petty. Do that shit. Do that shit over a pot pie this size every day. And people will start picking up on you. And do a weigh-in. Be 100% honest about it. If you just admit every lie you've ever told to your audience, you want some money, Foodie? Just let the fupa hang out. Just quit with the fakeness. Anyways, man, that got off the rails.
If I filmed it, I would have had to get dressed. Like,
oh, it had to get dressed?
I mean, I would have had to stay dressed.
What does that mean?
I could eat the whole jar, but
She
I'm
ate
not
it out
going
of the cap and put it back. There's fucking filth everywhere.
Not something I'm very familiar with, but...
Is she sitting on the table
right,
there?
Ian? All right, let's see.
It looks... I do like the way her living room looks better now. I'm only going to make the slight offhanded, maybe poop-themed name for Sala. But besides that, I don't really want to talk about that stuff. It is, everyone, you're all right. You were all right about everything you think about it. But, like, I don't want to get down in the sewers with these people. Oh!
Chicken, yeah. Mm.
It does. It looks delicious. I'm getting hungry looking at it. She can cook a pot pie. I couldn't have made a crust that... It doesn't look amazing.
So flaky. Mm.
I think you should just make a normal pie crust, but...
Fortunately, well...
You need to cut the fat out of your recipes, Foodie. You don't have a
I'm a fat girl who
gallbladder.
can cook when I want to.
I mean, you cook a lot of the same things all the time. It's really mostly just been poutine and pot pie, which is like two similar types of food where you just put a bunch of shit on top of each other. It's like nachos. That's not really cooking. My wife loves nachos, by the way. She got a job.
Hot.
She's a normal-sized human being.
So yeah. So much chicken.
Not like the walrus here.
I put a lot of gravy, a lot of chicken.
Yeah, a lot of gravy. Good. You don't need the gravy.
New.
Yeah, well, I don't know how you use whole wheat flour and think this is a healthy pot pie when it's full of gravy. And gravy, by definition, is full of just whatever fucking fat dripped out of whatever you were cooking. Bacon grease. Not that it's unhealthy.
Huge piece of chicken.
In a certain context, the chicken fat and grease, well, mainly pig and cow, less chicken. But that stuff, in a certain context, is good for you. It is better for you to use bacon grease than to use some mass-produced seed oil. It's the same as using olive oil. Just don't... Your body produces its own cholesterol. It's not the cholesterol in these things. There are other factors. It's not just that cholesterol goes into your blood. It's not how it works. It's way more complicated than anybody had considered, and a lot of new stuff is coming out when it comes to like fats that are healthy and fats that aren't. When it turns out that a certain amount of fats is necessary in your diet. It's necessary for you to thrive. Saturated fat is a precursor to your hormones. The minimum you should have is 50 to 60 grams a day of saturated fat. It's healthier than some of the other more complex fats that come from like Crisco, like vegetable shortening and vegetable oils. Those things are way less healthy for you, right? That's the difference there. It's the fact that she doesn't have a gallbladder, so she will have hell digesting any of this fat. Although I'm sure that would appeal to Sala, and I kind of got off track from the original point. But like, under the certain context, it's okay. But she's got a fucking tub full of gravy. Doesn't matter how much chicken and corn you have it is also full of gravy. God damn.
A little bit of the side crust. Oh, it's hot.
Ooh, it's hot. Oh. Is it that hot? Is it that hot still? I feel like I've been doing this video for hours.
It's like a whole thigh.
Yeah, you know, like, you know why? Because you're using a fucking serving spoon.
Half gone, I know. Well, a big chunk of it was gone because of like Salah, like I said.
Look how much is left now. She only needs to eat a little bit more of this for there to be half. The serving that came out was not very big. Right? Try to remember, or I'm not going to go back, but try to remember how big the serving that came out of it already looked. She is not going to be too far from half of this entire thing. Could you imagine eating that entire thing? And look, she's still fucking going. Look at
But I
the
did eat a lot of it.
determination.
I like purposely. Sorry, someone messaged me. I purposely like starved all day almost so that I could eat this. What did I eat today?
And whenever you fast for a long time, you need to start super slow. When you break your fast for like 14, 16 hours, start slow with something that is personally easy on your stomach. You shouldn't eat a bunch of sugar because it's going to spike your insulin. So don't eat any sugar. Try not to have any carbs. Have like a couple pieces of bacon. I know that sounds crazy. Have like 2 eggs to break a fast. Small, tiny meal. And that gets your body starts to get ready to eat again. And then in like 30 minutes to an hour, you can have whatever you want. Just make sure it's not full of chicken fat or that it uses any refined carbs like flour. Whether it's whole wheat or not, it's a refined carb. Don't use it. Have a potato, have a baked potato.
I had
Cheese. Sour cream.
a tuna fish sandwich. My first
Bacon
thing.
bits.
Then where we went, I shared a tiny size mango.
Just have as much tuna as you want. Don't use mayo or as much mayo, foodie. But if you make 3 cans of tuna into a big tuna salad, that's 240 calories. And then what's one serving of mayonnaise? Like 110? 2 tablespoons. You could probably just put 2 servings, 250 calories. So that's 500 calories. I wouldn't even count the calories if you sliced up pickles or sliced up onions or whatever. Some people put boiled egg. I always just skip it. It's just more work. You could have an enormous tuna salad without having bread, and that would be very healthy for you.
Gelato with my husband.
Why did you
I
have
had
ice
a few
cream?
bites. And then I had.
Yeah, you're lying. Yeah, you're fucking lying. You had enough sugar to give you enough appetite to down half of a... That's not even like a 4-person pot pie. That's like a 6-person. That's like 6 full servings.
That's it.
That's huge. I mean, maybe it's the perspective. Maybe it's because it's closer. Maybe I'm wrong about the sheer size of this thing. But it's way more food than I would make for my family.
I'm still hungry.
By half. I'm trying to diet, so I usually eat differently.
I know people think I'm trolling.
Or I eat early.
Or I'm not
because I
serious.
try to fast. I have to go to bed earlier than everyone else. So sometimes I'll eat my dinner
I am very serious.
well before
I literally walked
I've even cooked dinner.
for like
How much?
probably a good 3 to 4 hours today.
3
And
to
I
4
barely
hours.
sat down.
Did you use the
I just,
pedometer on
like,
your phone?
I don't know if it's from walking so much or just not eating a lot of junk food. My stamina to walk is like I don't even feel any pain. It's crazy.
I didn't even feel any pain. That's great. Although I don't believe it. Number one, you need to use a pedometer. Why don't you just go full in? Why don't you spend all your time having huge, way healthier meals and posting all of your wins in your dieting journey? And in between, you can do nothing but talk shit to reaction channels. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't you like to talk shit on Yabba while you lost 100 pounds? Huh? You should do a thing like that. It entertains us. We love to see it.
Oh, that was good. Okay, now I'm starting
That one
to feel
sounded painful.
feel full. But you guys were right when I asked you about like the if chicken thighs would be
She's
good
got
in this.
crumbs all over her
And those of you that said
face.
it's better, it's so good with the chicken thighs.
Yeah, chicken. That's the thing. Most of your Asian food stuff, like if you get orange chicken, it's probably chicken thighs. If you get, General Tso's, I don't really eat the stuff with the. It's all covered. It's good chicken, but then they use cornstarch or whatever to what is that called? I don't know. They don't just use flour to bread it. That's why the breading's different. They use like fucking pure starch and panko on some stuff, which is delicious. It's amazing, but it's also not healthy for you.
And the crust is so brown because of the whole wheat, but the whole wheat flour.
And that's obviously like what I mean is like the more commercial type Chinese and all that sort of food, Thai food. It's all similar, right? We're talking about the same region, What I mean is the stuff that you get in a restaurant is usually a lot more commercialized and a lot more junky than what a what a Thai family would eat for dinner, right, on a Friday night. I see a lot of people who cook purely Chinese. There's a woman who cooks purely Chinese on YouTube, and I see her shorts all the time where she's cooking a Chinese dish every single night, and it ain't all that sort of stuff, right? And it's a lot of chicken thighs.
Or it adds like an extra bite to it. It adds like another layer of flavor to the crust. I put some egg wash on it. Yeah, it's very flaky. I love it.
Foodie, you should have just had some vegetables, some chicken in a soup. You didn't do good here. I can't tell you how many calories was there, but gravy is very dense in that stuff. It's just usually just flour and fat. It's pure stored material. Gravy came about because you needed to fill up a meal of sparse with protein in the lean times, right? I mean, it's also a flavoring, but initially you had fat. That's how it came about. Someone had some flour and fat, and they were like, "Well, that's all I got. So let's just mix it up together and cook it." And then you realize that it kind of becomes its own little thing, right? And then there's recipes and there's different styles and all kinds of stuff. I'm speaking of like white flour, like you would have with breakfast sausage gravy. That too, right? That was made to supplement a meal. Biscuits and gravy is not a lot. There's nothing in there but carbohydrates and fat and a little bit of protein. That's to keep you going. That's to get you up and moving and working and stuff like that. It's calories to burn. It's high-powered food, but it's not healthy for you to eat if you're. What did she say? I'm always gonna go with what she says that she admitted to. 535. Is that how much she weighs? All right. Thank you. This was a terrible amount of non-tent. Goodbye.